Courtyard by Marriott presents CNBC-TV18 Disruptors.
And in this episode, you're in for a rather sumptuous treat. Whether you're sitting in Delhi or Dubai, Mumbai or Muscat, Chennai or Kolkata, starting your day with piping hot filter coffee, dosas, idlis and vadas means starting your day right. And this company helps you make all these delicacies in the comfort of your kitchen. Join me as we bring to you the untold story behind Batter King ID Fresh Food. 13 years ago, in the bustling locality of Tippasandra near Indiranagar in Bangalore, 5 young men decided to perfect the art of making the humble idli dosa batter. The demand for this everyday product was huge and evident, but the supply of a hygienic, quality product to individuals' homes was missing. From this opportunity was born ID Fresh Food. 45-year-old PC Mustafa and 4 cousins co-founded the company that now boasts of daily sales of 55,000 kilos of idli dosa batter alone, enough to make 1.5 million idlis every single day. ID's ready-to-make breakfast range of products are now available across Bangalore, Mumbai, Chennai, Hyderabad, Pune and other Indian cities, as well as Sharjah, Dubai and Abu Dhabi. On this episode of Disruptors, we decode the brains, branding and business behind India's batter giant, ID Fresh Food. We're standing in one of the manufacturing facilities of ID Fresh Food here in Whitefield in Bengaluru, and I'm joined by co-founder and CEO PC Mustafa. Thanks so much for joining us on CNBC-TV18's Disruptors. What everybody wants to know really is, talk to us about how did ID even come about? Dosa and idli is something that everybody did eat and everybody continues to eat, but how did you think you could make a business out of delivering this batter?
We started as a trial basis in a very small place, in a place called Indiranagar in Bangalore. My cousins were running a small-time kirana store in Indiranagar, and there was this local batter supplier who was supplying idli dosa batter in a plain pouch with a rubber band on the top. This batter had all sort of quality complaints, regular service issues, and cockroaches in the batter. My cousins tried to fix the issue with the vendor multiple times. It didn't work out. And that's when we thought, why don't we try to fix it ourselves? And that's how ID was born. We started in a very small setup, 50 square feet kitchen, with an investment of 50,000 rupees. One grinder, one mixer, one weighing machine, one searing machine, and a second-hand TVS scooty.
Interesting.
Our plan was to sell 100 packets in a day to start with.
In and around Indiranagar?
In and around Indiranagar. We started with 20 stores. We identified 20 stores. We thought we might be able to do it in like 1 month. But it took us 9 months to sell 100 packets. But then once we were able to sell 100 packets in 20 stores, that gave us a confidence that we will be able to do better.
There is a market out there.
There's a market out there, right? So then we assumed, or we calculated there is at least 1,000 stores that we can supply in Bangalore, and we saw an opportunity of selling 5,000 packets in few years.
Which is the kind of sales
today we sell around 50,000 kg per day, which translates to close to 1.2 million idli per day.
Oh, fantastic. And what was the price that a single batter packet was then, and what is it like about 7 to 8 years now?
When we started, I think we were at around 40-44 rupees. Today we are 70.
Sure. If I were to ask you then that initially you mentioned 50,000 rupees, single grinder, single mixie, but when did that really big influx of the first big ticket investment come in, and how did that boost operations at ID?
So 50,000 rupees we started, and whatever profits we generated, we reinvested for the company's growth. And we are a zero debt company. In 2014 is when we got a real break. We got an investment from Helion Ventures. They invested 35 crores. That gave us the necessary resources to expand our products in new markets like Mumbai, Chennai, Hyderabad, Dubai, and even other markets. Today we are present in 24 cities.
So 24 cities that you're present in India currently?
7 in India, 7 in UAE.
And talk to us about when you forayed into the UAE market and how that journey has really been for the company.
UAE market is doing very well for us. We started 4 years ago. It took us almost like 1 year to start the operation.
Absolutely.
But then today UAE contributes almost 25% of my revenue and almost like 100% of my profits.
Sure.
So it's a good market.
If I can just ask you about what is the value system that you follow here at ID? What really clicks and has brought this entire brand and made it a disruptor of sorts? Now there is a market segment where people are thinking, competition is thinking, you know what, I need to get into the batter industry. I need to actually get into making vadas and filter coffee. So what is the value system that you brought?
See, any brand, if it has to scale up, it has to have its own value system, right? In our case as well, values is very, very important for us. As I initially mentioned, we said we will not do interest-based transactions. That's my value system, one of the value system. Another thing that we said is we will not spoil natural food, right? We will keep our products 100% natural, no chemicals, no preservatives. It was not an easy journey.
It's absolutely not.
It is not an easy journey. When the whole world is moving towards long shelf life products and busy extending shelf life,
Sure.
we were here to identify a new business model to sell fresh. That's when we learned that the only way to make this business work is to reinvent a business model. The traditional FMCG distribution model won't work here. So we built our own distribution network. Our biggest challenge was when we sell fresh, our wastage was very high.
Absolutely.
And the easiest route was to follow the traditional approach, which is to add preservatives.
Preservatives increase shelf life.
Yes, increase shelf life. We didn't want to take that route. We felt we didn't want to follow the unethical, unhealthy business practice. So the only option was for us to reinvent a business model, which is a zero inventory business model.
So in that sense, it's not just a pure fresh food company, because you are driven by a whole lot of technology which gives you data for you to be adopting that zero inventory in a certain sense, right?
Yes, ID runs on IT.
Fair enough.
It is the fact. Every store is geo-tagged and geo-fenced. Last 8 years of data is used to predict the demand. And that data is used to supply the right quantity in the right store. And then that data is used to predict the order projection for tomorrow.
Absolutely.
So
you're
that's how it works.
eliminating wastage,
Yes.
increasing revenues
Yes.
in that process.
Yeah.
Well, if you did talk about challenges, going ahead, there obviously are a lot of issues that you've worked out. But looking back, what were the key challenges that you had to face along creating this mammoth of a brand?
I was a techie. My cousins were running a small-time kirana store. We had no idea about food technology. So let me share a small story with you. What happened? The real incident. When we started, we were supplying our batter. We had started in December 2005. On a hot day in April 2006, I got a call from a store near Indiranagar in Bangalore. He said, there's a bomb blast in my store, come running. We laughed like you. He said, if you have a bomb blast in your store, please call the nearest police station. We don't handle bombs. I said, no, there's a bomb in your batter, come running. we laughed at, right? But then even he was my customer, my team rushed to the store. By the time my team reached the store, as expected, he was very angry at them. He said, go clean my fridge, take all the leftover batter and go home.
Okay.
It was very rash. My team politely agreed to clean the fridge, and there were two members, my cousin and a salesman. My cousin took a piece of cotton from the vehicle, went to clean the fridge, and was packing all the leftover batter. My salesman didn't want to give up. He took a pack of batter and went to the store manager. Store manager was sitting in a cash counter with a computer system in front of him. This salesman was standing opposite direction, holding a pack of batter. He tried to explain the quality of batter to him, quality of packaging to him, and he also told him that, sir, this is a great product from a great company, run by people from IIM Bangalore and all of them. This guy didn't want to listen. Before my salesman could complete his sentence and store manager could reply anything, boom! This pack of batter exploded. White batter on his face. I now leave it to my imagination what could have happened in the store after this incident.
Absolutely.
Right? Why did it happen?
Because it wasn't stored right?
No. So, batter ferments during summer.
Sure.
It forms gas.
Yes.
It expands. And beyond a point, it explodes.
So the packaging.
It explodes like a bomb blast.
Yes.
We had no idea about food technology before we started this business.
So you didn't make big enough packages for the expansion.
In fact, I learned the term called fermentation after this incident.
Excellent.
Every day was a learning for us.
But at any point, was it too much of a hurdle? You look back and you think at any point you didn't want to continue every day at ID? Was there any point of giving up? And how do you motivate yourself in that sense to go on and create a brand like this?
In 2008-9, we became super confident about our brand, and we thought we had created world's best batter brand.
Sure.
And then naturally we thought, why don't we go to Chennai,
Sure.
Mecca of Idli,
Yes.
right? We went to Chennai market, started the batter operation, and then we learned that it's a very tough market. I was selling batter at around 45 rupees per kg,
Absolutely.
and there was unbranded batter available at 10 rupees per kg.
Sure.
I was not even able to get the raw material price out of it.
Sure.
There was no way for me to compete with them. We learned how they do it. They were buying the ration shop price, which is public distribution system rice, at 1 rupee per kg. Those are the 1 rupee kg rice, right? They were buying that rice, adding too much of soda in it, which is very unhealthy,
Absolutely.
and then making butter out of it. And the idli comes out well, because when you add more soda,
It's fluffier in a
it's
certain
fluffy,
sense. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
we had only 3 options in front of us. Option 1 was to follow this unethical, unhealthy practices.
The shortcut of a certain sense.
Yes, we didn't want to take that shortcut. Second option was to, take money on interest basis. We can't take that route also because it was against my value system.
Yeah.
So third option was to shut down the factory. So we decided to shut down the factory, sold all the assets, machineries. So we decided to come back. So we had to take such tough decisions in our life. But the courage to take such tough decisions in life helped us to create the strong brand that we are today.
Absolutely. And now if I were to ask you, talk to us really about, the outlook of the company, because it's no longer just idli, dosa batter and IT drives ID, but you have forayed into so much more. In fact, we're standing at the very factory that manufactures parotas, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. So how have you identified these products and where have you established your network of sorts?
We are there in 24 cities with 6 factories in different parts of India and UAE. Until 2010-11, we were a single city, single product company. Then we started expanding to newer cities and newer products. We experimented some new products. Some of them worked, some of them failed. Paratha is just one of the examples. We are today selling, I think, close to around 8 lakh parathas a day.
Wow.
Because we are able to get the authentic lacha paratha.
True.
Even to make the lacha paratha, we had to create our own machinery.
Yes, I don't think there is anywhere else in the globe, right? You can't, like how you don't have the vada.
Yeah, so we had to create our own machinery. So our team innovated a paratha making machine.
Great. But before I let you go and talk to us about the retail part of the business, the distribution, right? You're in a perishables industry.
Yes.
And we are at also a distribution center. Talk to us really about how much of an impact and how much of technology, etc., has to go into distribution angle and keeping in mind supply chain and logistics for that.
Today, we do around 2 lakh transactions per day in 20,000 stores with 10 SKUs. This is impossible to achieve without technology. So every store is geo-tagged and geo-fenced to ensure service availability. And then the store data is used to predict the demand. You can't scale up to such a business without investing on a back end and your distribution. So today we have around 600 salesmen in 24 cities with around 350 vehicles going to every store every day with every product, right? Replenishing the stock.
Sure.
With more than 2 lakh transactions every day.
Absolutely. So pretty much that's what helped you learn from this. So good to have you back on CNBC-TV18's Disruptors, and I'm still in conversation with Batter King PC Mustafa of ID Fresh Food, and we've actually come to a retail store here in Bangalore. And Mustafa, it's the obvious time for me to ask you about the importance of your retail partnerships for a brand like yourself. How do you choose the partners and where to be present in certain sense?
Yes, so if you look at Bangalore market, there are close to around 65,000 outlets. In these 65,000 outlets, we keep our products only in 5,000 outlets.
Interesting.
Because most of the stores either do not have a proper refrigeration facility or they switch off the chillers at the night.
Absolutely.
Right, and that's India. we can't help it.
Yes.
So we choose our partners right. It is extremely important to choose the right partners.
If I were to ask you then, from here, where all do you look at going? Because you're significantly present in the southern market, but where else would you like to tap as far as India goes?
So penetrating existing markets is, of course, is the number one priority.
Absolutely.
And starting operation in north and the other large cities in different parts of India, we are working on that now. And we are also looking at the Southeast Asia and US, Europe, those markets as well. We are looking for some good partners to expand this business in those markets.
Sure.
Because a daily distribution to the stores is the key.
If I were to ask you then, your current footprint in UAE, where are you, present in?
We are present in all the seven emirates in UAE,
Sure.
large cities in UAE, close to around 3,500 outlets. The target is to build at least 5,000 outlets in the next 1 year.
Absolutely.
We are soon starting our operation in Muscat. In fact, next week we are starting in Muscat.
So you have a significant manufacturing plant. What's the kind of capacity of manufacturing that you have in Middle East at the moment?
We have set up a large manufacturing facility in Muscat, which will be good enough for around a 600 crore revenue.
Great. And we've just coming to one of the counters where we can see a whole host of your product range occupy the shelves. And here I'd like to ask you about the wastage, because you are talking about no preservatives, absolutely fresh products to your various stores, 5,000 odd just in Bangalore. So how do you ensure that your products are constantly on the shelves, but to date, and there is very little wastage?
That's ID, right? If you look at ID today, we are able to build a distribution network for the fresh products with almost zero wastage. We started investing in technology.
All right.
I started measuring the store-wise productivity, store-wise sales and wastage data. And then we use that data for further analysis and to place the right product to the right store on the right day. In fact, in Mumbai, to every store in modern trade stores, we send a printed invoice.
Interesting.
We send a printed invoice because we're pretty clear, we're pretty sure about the kind of offtake from the store. So even before we reach the store, we know what kind of volume.
The kind of offtake. Fantastic. Now, talk to us about the product range really, because you started off as a pure play idli dosa batter, but there is so much more that ID offers today. Talk to us about the range.
We started with idli batter, then we started trying some related products. We started with the lecha paratha, then we tried wheat paratha, chapati, all of them ready to cook.
Yeah.
Right. Then 6 months back, we introduced a viral product called vada.
Fantastic, yes.
Vada batter.
Yes.
Then we also introduced a more healthier. In fact, idli is the most nutritious food in the world.
Sure.
But then, for more conscious people, we introduced, healthier variants of the product. We introduced ragi batter.
Yes, yes.
Right? And that's doing pretty well in the market.
The superfood.
Superfoods range, yes.
If I were to ask you, do you have a personal favorite amongst the range of products that you have at ID Fresh Food?
Wheat paratha is my personal favorite.
Yes, and I've always seen you guys started off with the regular, but you're always enhancing the quality and making the customer also eat right. Whole wheat options and, like you said, ragi options.
Yeah.
So nutrition is also at the cornerstone of ID's.
Yeah. So idli is the most nutritious food in the world. Within that, when we offer products like ragi batter, or in fact we just launched wheat and dosa batter.
Sure.
That's also doing well in the market.
Great.
We are now looking at launching multigrain dosa batter and also the red rice variants.
Absolutely.
Right? So to bring in those traditional food back into the Indian table.
And keeping also in mind, I think, the consumer who's becoming very aware of eating right and eating healthy, right? So if I were to ask you, Mustafa, this is not the powder either. So this is actual liquid decoction in these packets as well?
Yes, this has got a pure liquid decoction, a coffee decoction. This is a travel pack.
Oh, interesting.
Pack of 5. It's got 5 sachets inside, single serve sachets. That's the one.
So you can be sitting in San Francisco and still enjoy, like you mentioned, your grandmother's filter coffee.
And that too 100% natural, no chemicals, no preservatives.
Absolutely. So I can understand from what you've just explained, Mustafa, that packaging is very core to the heart of ID. Talk to us really about how you decide on the particular packaging technique, or even branding for that matter, because you are definitely a mass consumer product in that sense.
So we focused on different aspects of innovation.
Sure.
And one of the major areas for our innovation is in the packaging. So if you have seen our vada pack, this is a clear case of innovation that we have done. And most importantly, we Indians won't eat vada without a hole.
Yes.
A hole in the center is the most important part for the vada.
Signifies a vada, absolutely.
It took us 3 years to build a hole for the vada.
Oh, wow.
It takes just 1 minute for a homemaker to make vada now, but it took us 3 years to do it.
Fantastic.
And that's the only way to stay ahead of competition.
The power of innovation.
Yes.
And if I'm not mistaken, you have a patent on this particular kind of packaging?
Yes. And even there are very small things, right? For example, if you look at the vada packaging, vada will be kept like this way, right? In a store. But then when you make the vada, you need to squeeze it,
Yes.
right? When you need to see the instructions.
Sure.
If I print the instructions this way, how will you read it?
Strategic thinking, but it makes a ton of a difference to the consumer.
A traditional brand may not look at it this way.
Absolutely.
For them, it's extremely difficult to think along those lines. From a consumer perspective, this is the way they want to read
Read it, yeah.
while making the vada. So look at the instructions, right? This is the way you run.
Fantastic.
Small things.
Mustafa, if I were to ask you, it's definitely going to see a lot more competition. You're going to see a lot more makers come in and want to participate in this exact very similar story. Copycats are not new to business. They never will be, right?
Yeah.
So how do you, kind of protect yourself or kind of watch over your back when it comes to competition?
I think there's a huge opportunity for many players to come in this field.
Interesting.
If you just look at Bangalore market, Bangaloreans eat on an average 21 meals in a week.
Wow.
And on average, a Bangalorean eats 3 to 4 meals with idli, dosa, uttapam combination in 21 meals.
Yes.
Right? We have a 1.2 crore population here. That's close to around 2 crore idli per day.
Absolutely. Just in Bangalore alone?
Just in Bangalore. And that's a 1,000 crore business opportunity.
So whether you have the majority share or not, you still believe that opportunity
It's
is
a huge
immense.
opportunity, yes. Huge opportunity.
So in terms of investment, if you can just look at what you've kind of put in so far and talk to us really about what's the road ahead as far as investment and expansion goes in that connection.
2014, we took our first round investment from Helion Ventures.
Sure.
They invested 35 crores. And which helped us to expand this business to other markets like Mumbai, Chennai, Hyderabad and all of them, and Dubai. And last year, we took 150 crores from Azim Premji,
Sure.
from Azim Premji Invest, and we are using that to build world-class factories. So we are now building 4 world-class factories in different, 3 in India, 1 in UAE. Our plan is to showcase to the world that how to make idli. And of course, give the exposure to the kids as well. So we are building those factories, something that people can visit and see how do we do it.
So Mustafa, you did mention, the entering into millets and the whole multi-grain product range. But if I were to ask you, are you looking at any other kind of expansion in terms of product portfolio? What would they be?
We are mainly focused on the breakfast segment,
Sure.
the healthiest breakfast segment. That breakfast segment is incomplete without coffee and a chutney.
Oh, sure.
So we launched coffee recently.
Yes.
We are now working on chutney.
That will be quite a challenge as well, right? Because again, the perishability of...
So the biggest challenge for us is since we don't add chemicals or preservatives in the food, we need to deal with highly perishable fresh food. Now, a coconut chutney won't get you shelf life more than 2 hours if it is fresh.
Sure.
So that's a challenge, but we will crack it. If you can put a hole for the vada, we are pretty sure that
You can crack the
crack
chutney
it in the world.
recipe. If I were to ask you then, what fuels your passion, Mustafa? What makes you wake up every morning in a certain sense and say, today is a brand new day at ID and I need to make my brand the biggest there is as far as breakfast segment in India is concerned?
The entrepreneurship is a passion, right? Of course we make money, but money won't give you that real passion. Today, we are able to touch the life of 1 million people with healthy food on a daily basis, right? That gives me passion to do more. We are actually fighting a war against preservatives.
Sure.
We are fighting a war against junk food. When the whole world is moving to junk food arena, we'll bring back the traditional food back on your dining table.
And equally convenient.
Equally convenient, right? So I think that's the passion that's our passion.
If I can ask you a vision 2020 or 2025, if you may, what do you believe that ID should be at and where?
Today, we are able to touch the life of 1 million people with a healthy food. I see an opportunity to touch the life of 1 billion people.
Fantastic.
Next 4 or 5 years, we want to be a 1,000 crore brand.
Sure.
From a market evaluation perspective, we are a 1,000 crore brand today, but we want to build a unicorn in the next 4 or 5 years.
So the journey is just begun for you at ID Fresh Food.
Yeah. It's a huge opportunity.
Yeah.
Huge. Opportunity is really huge.
Fantastic. From the entire team here, we wish you and the company all the very best.
Thank you.
That is ID Fresh Food, a true disruptor in the Indian market, in the fresh food, especially breakfast segment. But with that, we're absolutely timed out on this episode of CNBC TV18's Disruptors. You can catch the episode on CNBC-TV18.com and across all our social media platforms as well. From the entire team that put the show together, goodbye and thanks for watching. Do tune in again for another untold story of a big brand next week.
Courtyard by Marriott presents CNBC TV18 Disruptors.